Hello everyone, this is Devang and welcome to episode 2, Town. I know it's not necessarily quite as exciting for you all, but definitely need to keep them split up, at least for now, simply for my own sanity. But here we have, we need to finish up from the end of the last mission. I do want to thank everybody for their comments. It's nice to know that that there are a lot of people enjoying the series, that I'm doing the series, and that you're enjoying seeing it. Thanks for pointing out the rules stuff. It's all stuff that I will try to keep in mind, but it is, as I said before, it is much easier when there's some other person helping take off some of the load of remembering everything. Especially since there's multiple characters. I'm bound to make some. Certainly I will try to remember everything that you guys pointed out, and try to make sure everything's going smoothly. Let me go ahead and put that there. So, end of the last session. Last session went okay-ish, considering, I think. Facing one guardian and, the flesh stalker, the epic threat, was kind of rough. And unfortunately not a lot of experience, because there weren't a lot of easy guys to kill. So we did not pick up all that much stuff. We didn't get a lot of experience. Got some between scavenging and there was we did get rid of the guardian. Essentially, that is what we killed. So we did get the gate rifle and the vicious axe and the lucky hat. So all of those were very nice. We'll have to see what kind of town it is. I think we will go to the large town. Simply A, because we can get some more travel hazards, potentially. So some more excitement for y'all. And B, gives us more options for what we want to do. Now, the other good news is, unlike Joseph Scott, who is wanted, we don't have to worry about being wanted and rolling and losing money every turn. So every day in town. So we don't have to worry about that, so we can potentially stay a little bit longer if we want to, gamble a bit more with Bechamel, and get some more loot, get some more cash. Right now, the group has a total of $175 that they looted from the mines. So cleanup for end of mission. We have no Darkstone. However, we do have the gate rifle, which has one Darkstone icon. So we need to see if Pete, who is carrying it, is afflicted. He is not. So we do not have to worry about Pete getting a corruption. Although, again, he's got the ribbon, so he can actually remove a corruption if he gets one, which is kind of why we gave him the gate rifle, besides spreading stuff out amongst the people. Excuse me. So, here's what we do. So, we are going to travel. Let's see, if we're going to a large town, there's automatically one travel hazard, and then a 1, 2, or 3, the hero gets an additional travel hazard. So, let us see what we've got. So, Bechamel does not. Add another hazard. Doc does. And Pete does not. So, we've got a total of 4 travel hazards. So now we're going to roll on the expanded travel hazard chart. So, the red die is going to be the first digit. The blue die is the second. So we have a 15 for the first one. Devil's Fork. The rock formation up ahead is known in these parts as the Devil's Fork. As you stare up at it, you feel a chill run through your blood. Every hero must roll a d6 for each corruption point and mutation they have. On a roll of 1 or 2, take an additional corruption point, ignoring willpower. Well, they have no corruption points and no mutations at this point, so hey, I think we're good. Okay, so Doc. Travel hazard. Oh, and so you also have to remember, Pete has the ability to spend a grit to cancel a travel hazard on the d6 roll of 3+. So, we do have to remember that. So, that 2-2 for Doc's first travel hazard is Blighted Desert. The desert is dry and unforgiving. As you come across the first watering hole for miles, the area around it is littered with the bones of the dead. Not a good sign. Each hero loses 1 grit. If you do not have grit to lose, instead take d3 wounds, ignoring defense that carry over to the next adventure. Alright. Well, Pete is going to use his grit to attempt to cancel that, because might as well lose his 1 rather than everybody lose theirs. It is a 3+ test. The only downside is he's going to take some wounds that will carry over if it fails. But it succeeds. So, Doc and Bechamel thank Pete profusely for letting them keep their grit. Alright, so the second travel hazard for Doc is a 16, which is Shadows Out of Time. The shadows playing across the canyon walls seem to move and flicker out of sync with the environment around them. You almost feel as though you can see the vast machinations of the universe playing out in the dark forms. The hero that rolled this travel hazard must make a cunning 6+ test. That's good. Doc actually has a really good cunning. Actually, they all have pretty good cunning. If passed, the hero posse gains an extra revive token for use during the next adventure. For every 1 roll during the test, the hero loses 1 sanity permanently as their mind begins to crumble. Ooh, alright. So this may be where we want Bechamel to allow a reroll or simply adjust one of the dice up to, say, a 2. But let's see. 4 dice, he's got a cunning of 4. 6+. He succeeds, he does get 1-1. And I think Bechamel will spend her fortune. Or Doc could use a grit to reroll. What would be better? You know what? Since Bechamel might be able to recover a fortune, she's going to use her fortune for this 1. We want to adjust it up. So, that is a luck test. Needing a 5+, she needs at least 1 5+, which she fails. Ouch. I don't really want Doc to do that, so it's going to be expensive. Doc's going to spend a grit to re-roll that 1. There you go. Alright. Basically a waste of the fortune point, but what can you do? I figured with 4 dice, she had, odds are she was going to get a 5+, but she didn't. So that was Doc's second. So we're going to have an extra, now I'll need to remember this. They have a second revive token for the next adventure. Going to be very, very important. They'll be able to live a bit longer, I think. So what else do we do here? We've got, and then we've got Pete's travel hazard. Let's re-roll that. That was the same one we had. We don't need a third revive token. And we want some different stuff, right? So here we go. 65. That's way at the end here. 65. Gulch Ambush. Traveling through Dusty Gulch, you get a bad feeling, but it's too late. Feathered arrows whiz past your head as a savage group of Black Fang Triad Indians descend from the cliff tops, hungry for Darkstone. Each hero must make an Agility 5+ or Lore 5+ test. If passed, gain 25 experience, you're able to evade. If failed, you're knocked to the ground and lose Darkstone or one item with a Darkstone icon. Also, you lose all grit. Well, we're almost out of grit, and only Pete has a Darkstone item, so we have to be wary for Pete. Alright, so Bechamel, she's got a 3 agility, and her, or lore. She's got a 3 lore, so it doesn't really matter which one she does. So 5+. She succeeds, so she's going to get an extra 25 experience. Doc has a 3 lore, 2 agility, so he's going to go in with lore. He succeeds. Oh no, he fails. Sorry, that is a 4. Kind of looked like a 5. So he fails, but he has no Darkstone nor grit. And then Pete has a 2 agility, 3 lore, so he's going to do lore. We have no grit to re-roll, so we could lose the gate rifle, and this could be really bad because we kind of need that gate rifle. And he passes. All right, and he gets an extra 25 experience. And we get to keep the gate rifle. Alright, folks. That was it as far as travel hazards. So now we have they are now going to the town. We need to see if there is a specialty town. So we roll 2d6, add them together, and we have a 4. So it is a plague town, which is not a shiny, happy thing, I don't believe. So the plague town. When a town is hit by a cursed plague, it is more than just its people that fall ill. The wood begins to rot, metal begins to rust, and stone to crumble as a supernatural death lingers in the air. So plague town always includes a doctor's office and a church. So let's grab those out of the bag of tokens here. Not that we really want either one. Doctor's office and a church. We have no Darkstone, so a blacksmith for Darkstone bullets isn't going to make a difference either. Unwanted attention markers are ignored, so that's not a big deal. Anytime a hero rolls a 7 on a location event chart, that hero has a brush with the plague. Got some daily events, some extra options. Alright, so the extra options we have at the plague town here is tend to the sick. So any hero can give up their day in town to give aid to the victims. Make a cunning 4+ test. For every 4+, the hero gains 25 experience. If at least 1 6 is rolled, the hero can also draw a gear card that's passed on to them. For every 1, they take a d6 wounds, ignoring defense. Also, experimental medical supplies. So the following items are available for purchase. The Darkstone Salve for 500. And the Plague Leeches for 200. Allows you to remove corruption. Alright, but neither one of those are particularly useful. Right now, anyway. So there is our town that we are going to. So let's see what other kind of locations we have. We have a street market. We have the blacksmith. Make sure I'm getting you right where we are. Yeah, of course, now we get the blacksmith when we don't have any money or Darkstone. We have the smuggler's den. We have the general store. We have the mutant quarter. Again, that's probably not going to be all that useful, but I don't remember everything that's in these. And last is the frontier outpost. Excellent. Alright, well, so let's see what we've got here. You know, tending to the sick could be useful to try to get some free gear cards. Fortunately, there's no saloon, and there's no gambling hall for Bechamel to gamble in. So let's take a look. So, at the doctor's office, we don't have anything to get cured or treated. What else can we get? There's the bone saw as a melee weapon. One-handed. He can use a grit to do when he does 1 or more wounds to an enemy with a combat hit to permanently reduce that model's defense to 0. That's not bad, but using grit is kind of rough. Tools of Science, we can't afford. 4,800, that's eventually what we'll want him to get. So his combat is equal to his cunning, which is 4. Right now, anyway. So, you know, ultimately, that's probably what we want to do. Get him is some Tools of Science. But, not that useful. And then the Field Surgeon's Apron. Let's throw this up here. So that you guys can kind of see what I'm looking at. And then the Field Surgeon's Apron. Anytime he kills an enemy, he can heal his sanity. 925. Not something I need to get right now. Alright, so there's really nothing at the doctor's office for us, I don't think. Other than, well, no, I wouldn't even say healing herbs at this point. We just don't have enough money right now. Kind of need to make money right now. So the church. Is there anything useful at the church? Well, we don't have a holy hero, so I don't really need the auras. Don't really need to convert. You know, the Cross of Vengeance might be an interesting if I get Doc converted. Cross of Vengeance, one-handed. While you're less than full health, your combat hits are +1 damage. You're less than half health, your combat hits are +2 damage. That could be very useful as paired with the Tools of Science for the extra dice. But I am a fan of extra dice in general over damage. However, having at least a little bit of plus damage is going to be useful. So I think he definitely needs something that gives him at least, you know, +1 damage. I'm not a big fan of two-handed weapons. I'm much bigger fan of two one-handed, you know, dual wielding for melee, not necessarily for ranged. But most of the two-handed melee weapons just are. It seem to me they're too limited, right? In general, you can kind of get more. All right. Street market is the next one. What can we do at the street market up here? All right. So street gambling. Unfortunately, that's not really up to abilities. That's simply random rolling. So that's not actually going to really help Bechamel per se. I mean, she still gets to collect extra money if she succeeds, but you know, not that good. Bathhouse, not a big deal. Nobody's hurt. Items to purchase. So let's see. We got a couple hats over there. We probably want weapons though. An ornate pistol, range 7, 2 shots, once per fight. Add +2 damage to a hit with this pistol. 1,600. That's a little expensive for right now. Butcher's Blade. One-handed, anytime you wound an enemy with a combat hit, you can add +1 damage to all of your other combat hits for the rest of this turn. Stacks for multiple hits. So that's nice. Only, you know, he's only rolling 2 dice to attack. So, you know, for what that's worth, he's not really going to get much out of it. Besides the fact that he has the Vicious Axe, which is already +1 damage. I think right now I want to concentrate on weapons rather than armor, so I'm not really going to look that. So I really think gambling, ways to get money, or additional money, and then weapons. So once we get everybody decked out with some weapons, we can kill stuff a little bit easier. Then we can look at like armor, and things like that. So the blacksmith. So as I recall, the blacksmith has had some stuff. So first of all, we have horses. Again, or transport, stagecoach. Again, I think that will be something for later. Tomb chests wouldn't be bad to get early. But since Pete can get rid of corruption too, as well, for free, that could be just something we can just get rid of. We can worry about later. Darkstone buckle, void plate, void hammer, which we can't afford, and all that actually requires darkstone, and of course the upgrades. So blacksmith isn't really something that we can do right now. All right, the smuggler's den. So what have we got here? Smuggler's den. Ah, yes. Okay. So you got to remember. So you can do black market goods, which could be useful. Once per town stay for all heroes. So that's probably something we want to do. Let's, draw some cards and see what's for sale in the black market. But that's also something to do later when we actually have some money. We have no outlaws, so we can't do any of the outlaw stuff. There's illegal ammo. This is Smuggler's Holdout Pistol, which nobody can use. We can buy a round of shots to let somebody recover grit, but take wounds or down a dark road is outlaw only, so we can't do that either. Actually, sorry. It turns somebody into an outlaw, which we don't want to do. So, but definitely for the black market. I definitely think we want to do that, but we need the money right now. Selling the gate rifle for the money will be last minute. The last need, because it is a weapon that we can use. That's not too bad. All right, general store. So general store, we need to replenish the whiskey that we used. That's certainly true. Specialty ammo, again, not necessary. So the shotgun, range 5, one shot, 1,200. Or the double barrel, 2,800. I don't think we're going to be able to afford that. Let's see, we sell the gate rifle for 950. We've got another 100, so 1050 and 75. We have about 1,100 right now, so probably getting the shotgun for Bechamel is not going to be the best. Maybe an additional pistol for her to let her shoot. Granted, she's not going to critical, but again, more hits unless it's somebody who has a lot of defense. Another pistol's 500, 6 range 6, 2 shots. I would rather get. I can't get the gunfighter pistol for 3 shots. The quick draw pistol +1 initiative, not worth it for us right now. Could do a light pistol actually for 250. Range 6, 2 shots, cannot get critical hits. But if I use that as only dual wielding, I use that as the offhand, and then I can't get criticals anyway. Then that doesn't matter. So that would be the cheap alternative. I think that's probably a good idea. And then of course again, hats and clothing, which I'm not going to worry about right now. All right, so I think that's a good place to go to potentially buy a light pistol for 250. But I'm not going to worry about that right now because again, we want to try to get more money. And right now, there's no other place to get more money. The mutant quarter doesn't really have anything for us. Don't need the surgeon. Don't need to meet with the revolutionaries. We could meet for with the prophet, but we don't need to hail. We can buy whiskey and bandages and stuff there. The rail hammer, it was kind of nice. Once per turn, add d6 damage to one of your combat hits. But it is, again, a two-handed weapon. It's only got 2 upgrade slots. Yeah, rail spike driver, we don't shoot. I don't think there's really anything other than maybe the whiskey. Which does remind me that for the general store, that was the general store for the light pistol. So, general store for the light pistol and some whiskey. is going to be in order. And nothing for the Mutant Quarter. And last of the Frontier Outpost. We have no Darkstone to sell. We cannot rob the bank. We could train with soldiers, but we would rather spend our money to get some weapons. A bounty. So it would be somebody good to go here and get the bounty. And then optionally he could get some melee weapons. A pickaxe would not be bad. +1 combat, and anytime you gain Guardstone, gain an extra one. Very useful early on in the game. Cavalry Saber is, useful, as we saw, but super expensive. Indian Hatchet, your combat hits are +1 damage. And of course, there could just get a cheap hunting knife for 400, which just gives +1 combat. And so we could sell the axe that he's got right now for 500, and then spend the 400 for the knife and 750 for the hatchet. Yes, because he is Frontier, he can actually use the Indian Hatchet and get +1 damage. So he can get +1 combat and +1 damage by dual wielding the hunting knife and the Indian Hatchet. And that would give him 1 extra combat die and all our +1 damage. That is 1150 though. So I think the extra pistol for Bechamel is kind of and the whiskey is going to be the most important thing. So all of that said, what does that mean? Okay, what that means is the only place for us to gamble is going to be the street market. So, as horrible as that is, I think that's where Bechamel has to go day one. Oh, so, sorry, all of that, we start with a daily event card. To see what's happening in town day one, which is just another day in town. If it's a special, no effect, but if it's a specialty town, roll once on the daily events chart for that town. And it is a specialty town. So the daily event is, and we do have the 10 to sick. So that might be a worthwhile thing to do. But daily events, see what we get. We have a 2, building decay, rickety and rotten. One of the more decayed buildings town collapses. A random building is destroyed. Well, alrighty then. What do we have? Which building is destroyed? That's probably gonna be like the street market or the general store. 3. It is the street market. So no gambling whatsoever. Poor Bechamel. She has no place to go gambling. Out of all those. And sure, at the Smuggler's Den, there's no place to go gambling. Yeah, I don't think so. So we have no real way to make money at this point. All right. Well, so we have 175, which doesn't really leave us much of anything. Wow. I didn't even think about that. We can't even afford the light pistol at this point. Because I don't want to sell the lucky hat. I don't want to sell the vicious axe. If I sell the vicious axe, then I would need to pick up a melee weapon, and not the cheap light pistol. Or I could sell the vicious axe and pick up the Indian hatchet for 750. I can't afford that because it's 750 for the Indian hatchet. And we've only got 175, so that only makes 675, which is not enough. So it'd be selling the vicious axe for the hunting knife for 400. So trading 1 damage and 1 initiative for +1 combat. So I don't think it's worthwhile. I don't even know that it's worth going to the black market, honestly. Simply because we only have 175, unless I sell the gate rifle. And the black market is going to be more expensive than whatever the card is. It's probably worthwhile. We'll spend one day in town, right? So, we'll send, Bechamel is going to go, we definitely want the whiskey, so we'll at least go to the general store, and pick up the whiskey. Actually, no, we'll let Bechamel go to the, smuggler's den to go for the black market goods, because that kind of fits in. And then Pete and Doc are going to go to the general store. Well, Pete will go to the general store. Doc, it doesn't really matter. I don't even know what the events are, if there's some good event. Oh, and Doc, actually, Doc will tend to the sick. He's going to stay. That is what we can do. So, she'll go day 1, she'll go to the smuggler's den, see what's at the black market. Doc's going to tend to sick. We'll see if we can get some, he's got a good cunning. We'll see if we can get some free gear. And then, and Pete will go pick up some whiskey. So there you go, day 1. And if we get some gear from tending to the sick, we could theoretically be able to sell them, right? So that'll be good. All right. So let's start with Bechamel. Is at the smuggler's den. So let's see what happens at the smuggler's den. Is a 9, a big haul. Roll 4 and draw an extra 2 items for the black market. Okay, well that's all we've got. So we're rolling 5 dice. See what we get. So 1, 2, or 3 is a gear. So we have 3 gear and 2 otherworld, 2 artifacts. So let me draw those here. All right, and here is what available. So the 3 gear is a looking glass, +1 cunning, could be useful. Recover grit anytime you pass a cunning test, limit once per turn. Useful, especially for Doc. Set that up there. We have the Fallen Gunfighter's Pistol. Very nice gun. Range 6, 3 shots once per turn. You can take 3 wounds, ignoring defense to add +2 damage to a hit with the Fallen Gunfighter's Pistol. 550. Potentially doable if we sell the rifle. Which might be worthwhile. We have a regular pistol. So cheap. So there we go. It's 100, and then whatever the difference is, plus a D6 times 25. So it's probably going to be cheaper than the light pistol. So that's going to be useful. Just going to shift stuff over a little bit. Doesn't matter. I know I'm not going over there. Then we have the breaching gun. So this is from the derelict ship. I did randomly draw out of all of the other worlds, even though I'm not going to go into derelict ship or Tradara or the Blasted Wastes. I was pulling the artifacts from them. Ended up drawing derelict ship. So this is a new one. Most people haven't necessarily seen. I know I haven't. The breaching gun. So it's a shotgun. Range 4, 2 shots. Uses the D8 to hit and 4 damage. 6+ counts as a critical hit. Any model that takes 1 or more wounds from this gun during a turn also gains a stunned marker. Ooh, 750. Only has 1 upgrade slot though. But, Bechamel. And then another kind of new one from Tradara. Or, sorry, the Blessed Wastes, I mean. is the Wasteland Survival Gear. Ignore weather effects and you're immune to poison, and once per turn you can use a grit to heal D3+1 wounds or sanity, any mix, for $7.25. Not really looking for clothing right now, so weapons. So, let's see what the... it's not going to matter, because... nothing... Well, actually, I take that back. So... Yeah, it's not going to matter, because Pete has the gate rifle. And he has all the money right now, because he was going to buy the whiskey. Right, so yeah, all that will stay available here. I'm not going to worry about rolling to see, because right now Bechamel has no money. She can't, unless she sold her hat. She can't make any money, or she can't afford to buy any of those anyway. But they're going to stay there for next day. So let's see what else might happen. But that's very nice. So I think the pistol's probably going to be affordable. Especially if I can roll like a 1. That will, so it's 125. That would be very affordable to get somebody dual wielding. I am liking the breaching gun over the gate rifle. Obviously, only the range of 4 kind of sucks, but I think the standard shotgun is standard shotgun's a range 5. The double barrel is a range 4. So basically, it's a double barrel shotgun that has the stun ability, which I'm not exactly sure what the stun does. I would have to take a look at the card for it. But that stun sounds like it prevents them from moving, or they have to skip their turn, or something like that, which sounds super awesome for controlling and managing. And she gets +1 damage, if she rolls a 6 or higher. So, score. I mean, I'm not a fan of range 4, but theoretically, she'll get some. We'll add the range upgrade to it at some point to give it a range of 8, most likely. All right, so I think that's all she's gonna do. Pete, let's see what what happens to Pete in the general store. He's got a 10, a fire sale. All purchase prices are reduced by $50 to a minimum of $25. Awesome. So, saves us money. So he is buying 2 whiskeys. Normally it'd be 50 each. They're 25 each, so that's going to cost us $50. So he's got 125. The light pistol's 200 at this point. The light pistol's 200. If we buy that other pistol will range, well, could go as low as 125. So even with the discount, buying the light pistol doesn't sound like it's a deal, right? Because if the price varies each day, so we'll just spend another day. If the pistol ends up being expensive, then I don't have to. Then I'm not going to even deal with it. So we'll just come back another day. So all right, that's it for that. So tending the sick will be the doc. Doc's going to tend the sick. He's going to make a cunning 4+ test. He's got 4 cunning. For every 4+, he's going to get 25 experience. If at least 1 6 is rolled, he can draw a gear card. If he rolls for every 1 rolled, he's going to take a D6 wounds, ignoring defense. And you cannot tend to the sick 2 days in a row. Alright, well he's going to get some experience, no 6s, and he's going to take some damage. Well, that just sucks. So he takes 4 wounds. Now, those wounds, yeah, are just going to carry over. So it's possible that maybe he does want to heal. But he's also not able to treat them 2 days in a row. So tomorrow he'll be the one who's going to go buy stuff, I think. And we can let the other 2 go tend to the sick tomorrow as well. Because we have our 2 whiskey for super cheap, and that will be useful. Actually, you know what? Since they're super cheap, I'm going to get 3 whiskey, and that way each of our folks have a whiskey to spend. Especially since they were super cheap. You know, extra bandages, you know, could be nice to give to Doc and let him just, you know, heal everybody. But I think we're good with that. So that was day 1. Here, come back. We do have to pay $30 though. To stay, $10 each day. Unless we want to stay at the campsite, which I'd rather not have to deal with some campsite events. Even though we are very hurting for money. So we don't want to stay too long. I think we're going to do one more, maybe 2 more days. Oof, that's going to end up being $90 we're spent. Now, actually, you know what? Let's sell the gate rifle. Well, let's see if we have an event. We do not. So day 2. All right. I'm going to sell the gate rifle for $9.50. And we've got $70 left. So what does that mean? Well, let's see. And then total with the $9.50 and the $70 is what, 1,000 and 25? Is that right? 950 and 70, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 120. Or 1,020. Okay. So, and it's going to be 750 for, well, plus whatever. All right. So let's do this. We'll hope we roll low. Doc's going to go to the smuggler's den with all the money. See if he can buy. Both of these folks are going to go try to tend to the sick. Let's see if we can get some more gear that either will get us something useful or that we can sell. So let's tend to the sick first. So cunning test for Bechamel. She's got 4 dice. And she does have 1 grit. She gets 25 experience, but nothing else. No 6s. That's unfortunate. And then 3 cunning for Pete. He gets 3 successes. Goodness, Pete. He is the angel of mercy, isn't he? He is just super personable. You know, howdy y'all. All right, so we get three gear cards. So we may want to wait one more turn and see what we get here and sell these, or there may be some useful stuff. So let's see what we have. To grab out of this big old giant stack of stuff, which takes forever. Alright, and here's what we get. We have a canteen. So once per adventure, heal 2d6 wounds. Very nice. More healing. Mark of the Faithful. Use 2 Darkstone to attach any item. You are plus health equal to your spirit. Well, we have crap for spirit. So that's going to be a sell, I think. And then, the Gravedigger. Range 3, 2 shots, uses a d8 to hit and 4 damage. 6 pluses count as a critical hit. Does plus 1 damage to undead enemies. So we have another shotgun. And this is a free shotgun. So, that does beg the question, do we bother buying the breaching gun? Breaching gun's got 1 more range. Also has an upgrade slot. The Gravedigger does not. However, we don't necessarily need to buy it right now. Bechamel can just keep this. She can have this and the pistol. So if she's at long range, she uses the pistol. She's going to work her way into short range and then use the Gravedigger. That is probably worthwhile. I'm going to just go ahead right away and sell the Mark of the Faithful because I don't need. We don't need it. Everybody's got crappy spirit. The best Doc has 2. So that's going to be another 250, which would be extremely useful, and we don't need that. So, with that in mind, well, it's another shotgun, right? And I don't think we want, both Pete and Bechamel to have a shotgun, but maybe. Well, then again, we actually could probably afford the Fallen Gunfighter's pistol. Which, even if you don't use a special ability, has 3 shots. Has no upgrade slots, unfortunately. And there's also the Looking Glass, which is pretty cheap. The Gravedigger's also worth 400, which we could conceivably sell. So let's see how expensive all this stuff is. At least the ones we're interested in. So, basically everything except for the survival gear. So, the Looking Glass is a 3, so that's going to cost double. So it's another 175. That's 150, or another 75. The Fallen Gunfighter's pistol is a 4, so that's going to cost another 100. So that's going to be 650. The pistol is worth another 100, so that's worth 200. And the breaching gun. Ooh, it's cheap. It's only 50. So that's going to be 800. So, breaching gun. I think the breaching gun's better. Even though we're spending the money, I think the breaching gun's going to be better. It's got a slightly better range, and it's got that stun effect, which I really should look up. So hold on for a minute here. Alright, so I looked up Stunned. Stunned is not quite as good as I was thinking, but it's still useful. Any model with a stunned marker is -1 defense. And then there's a chance of them removing it every turn. I think it was 4+ at the start of their activation. Still, -1 defense, is essentially +1 damage, right? So... and those would be for additional hits, and that's a +1 damage for everybody else. And she goes first, so any hits she does will make it easier for other people. So I think that's actually going to be worth it. So let's go ahead and pay the 800 for the breaching gun. Okay. Now, so questions. probably not worth picking up the gunfighter's pistol or the regular pistol. So if we say, let's sell the Gravedigger. I don't think we necessarily need. Well, I mean, Pete could use it, or do we get him a pistol like the gunfighter's pistol, where he can dual wield with his pistol. You know, if there's lots of weak enemies, and then that's actually probably not a bad idea. He's also got the most health. But it is worth... I don't think we want to buy it this turn. But yeah, so let's sell the Gravedigger for 400. So we actually have like 800 bucks left now. Yeah, between selling all that stuff. And I think we'll wait one more turn. We got like a 50-50 chance of it being cheaper than that, and all the money we can afford. The Looking Glass, though. Do we pay 150 for the Looking Glass? Get that +1 cunning. Recover a grit anytime you pass a cunning test. And although that's tempting to give to Doc, I would probably give it to Bechamel, because her recovering a grit gives her a fortune. So any way to get fortune recovery is going to be very nice. So I think actually I will. I think I'm going to spend the 150, and then we'll get the Looking Glass as well, since that's slightly below the cost of what it will end up being. And that'll get to Bechamel. Bechamel is just getting loaded up up here. Excuse me. Apparently. And you know what? She's got. Yeah, and she's got the pistol if she ends up being out of range with somebody. So, okay. And Pete's going to keep the canteen. Because Bechamel, her personal item lets her fully heal once per adventure. He's got the canteen, lets him heal 2d6 wounds, or he can actually heal anybody with that. And then the Doc obviously has his bandages, which will allow him to heal a lot. And it might be worthwhile to go buy more whiskey and stuff. If we figure, at this point, all we're going to buy is the Fallen Gunfighter's pistol. Then, for Pete, we need to keep 600 or so left. We've got a smidgen. We've got 120 that we can play with. But we do have to pay 30 for the day. So speaking of which, I didn't roll for the Smuggler Den, did I? My bad. For Doc. Doc was at the Smuggler's Den. So what does he have? He has a 10, a big haul. We can't do that because we already have. Yeah, we don't get new ones. So that's a nothing happens here. So, new day. So, that was the end of day 2. Do we have a town event? We do not. Alright. We'll pay our 30. Day 3. Yeah, and I forgot daily event. Duh. I forgot the daily event for yesterday, so let's do the daily event for day 3, though. Alright, and we have a traveling tonic wagon. We can purchase 3 tonic tokens at a cost of $100 each. And then they could be junk. I'm not going to worry about that. Tonic would be good for Bechamel at some point. Let her, again, anything that lets her recover grit, and therefore get extra, get some fortune. I'm gonna give Doc give Doc the looking glass for right now, because on day 3, Doc is going to go ahead and tend the sick again. And then they're going to go to the smuggler's den with the rest of the money. Ooh, actually, take that back. We conceivably might want to go to the general store and pick up some more whiskey. Now, yeah, I think we're not. I'm not going to risk it. I'm going to go ahead and keep all the money with Pete. And in fact, I don't necessarily need all these people here. So I think, so no need to actually spend money. I think actually, let's get $10 back, because I think Bechamel is going to leave. The only advantage would be getting extra rolls for tending to the sick next turn, because she actually can't do it this turn. I don't think I want to stay here another turn. So, well, but she does have the extra cunning if she makes a cunning test. So I think Bechamel's going to go, Pete's going to go to the smuggler's den. Pete's is the one who's not going to stay, because it is a cunning test to tend the sick. Which means we give Bechamel the looking glass, she'll be able to recover a grit and get a fortune point. And she does have grit, so which I guess she could have rolled before to try to get some gear. All right, so let's start with Doc. Tending to the sick, he gets 5 dice. And he does pass, which gets him a grit, which he will then spend to re-roll this 1, so he doesn't take more wounds, hopefully. Okay, nope, but he does get 1 gear card. Pull this off of there. He gets a plain old axe. It was a one-handed. He's got a two-handed weapon. Yeah, we don't have a one-handed melee weapon for him. That is the downside. We haven't bought him, but he's got the vicious axe, which is all right. +1 initiative, +1 damage. So we'll just sell this for the 200. If we need it. And then Bechamel. Alright, so what is the cost? What is the cost of the gunfighter's pistol? We need this to be low. No, it is super high. So I don't think we're going to buy it this turn. The regular pistol is cheap. But I think we want that gunfighter's pistol. So we're going to do one more. We're going to do one more day. Unfortunately. And we'll let Doc buy it. Since we just got the extra 200, I think we'll buy it regardless of what the cost is next turn. So, day 3, is there an event? There is not. Okay. And then these folks are going to... Oh, and I didn't roll for her Smuggler Den event. I gotta remember to do that. I'm so excited. A 10. Again, more black market goods. This black market is jumping. So day 4. You know what? Bechamel will take the looking glass. Let's let her go ahead and do her roll. She got 5, and then Doc has all of the money. She does get 1 gear. And she has 1. So she recovers a grit, which also gives her a fortune. She already had a grit as well, so she's actually going to use this grit to reroll the 1. That's fine. So we get 1 gear card for her. It is a straight, if I can get that, straight razor. Once per turn, you can take a corruption hit on yourself to ignore a target's defense for one of your combat hits, but it's outlaw or performer only, which the Frontier doc is Frontier and Medical. So that's going to be kind of useless. So we'll sell it for the 250, which sounds perfectly reasonable. And that did get her a fortune. So, Doc at the Smuggler's Den. So, what is his event at the Smuggler's Den is a 10 as well. Jeez, yeah, super haul. So much loot in this town. Alright, so how expensive is the Fallen Gunfighter's pistol? It is, again, super expensive. You'd think, with the dearth of, or plethora of items, the pistol, yeah, that it would be cheap, but it is not. So it is an extra 150. So it is a 5, 6, 700. But you know what? I think it's worth it. So we're going to pay the 700, and we will pick up the Fallen Gunfighter's pistol for Pete. So now Pete has the Fallen Gunfighter's pistol and a pistol, so he can dual wield. He can also take some wounds to add some extra damage to it. That's going to be a temporary weapon. Well, he may keep it for a while, but it may become his offhand weapon because obviously we're going to want one that probably has upgrade slots on it, right? So, but you know, he's the one. He can remove a corruption that has a Darkstone icon, so he can deal with that one for right now. Anyway, the only other option. So we don't have a whole lot of money left. We're down to like 170 or something. Sorry, 200 and 300 because she just sold that. So 350 or something like that. So, but that is all. Oh, and I forgot to spend my 20 for staying in town for the 2 characters. All right, so that is it. Let's see if there's a town event. There is not. So it was a quiet town stay. But eventful. All right, folks. They are going to head off. We're going to head off to the next adventure. So it was a bit exciting getting stuff. I didn't think we were going to get anything accomplished. Thank goodness for that tending to the sick and Pete, the Mother Teresa of Brimstone or something. Certainly way better than the other two did. That one day that he tended to the sick, 3 people gave him stuff. So he's apparently super charismatic. Who knew? And that got some stuff that we could sell and get us some money to be able to purchase stuff. So super awesome. I think we're outfitted much better. So we've got Bechamel with the Looking Glass, the Lucky Hat, and then of course the Breaching Shotgun. Range for 2 shots, D8 to hit and damage, and if they take a hit, they're stunned, which reduces their defense by 1. And then she also has the pistol, which is range 6, in case she needs a little bit more range. But she will certainly try to get stuck in. And honestly, even with 3, it's not hard to get stuck in. It's going to be kind of hard to block stuff off. And have enemies within range 4. Especially since most of the enemies move super fast. You can't really dodge them or outrun them. Doc's kind of, and then Pete has the Fallen Gunfighter's pistol and the canteen for healing. Fallen Gunfighter's pistol, range 6, 3 shots. Once per turn, he can take 3 wounds, ignoring defense, not armor. So if we get him some armor, that will help mitigate that as well. To add +2 damage to a hit with that gun. So very nice, especially for those bosses or something where he needs where we need a little bit of that extra damage. But he can do a wield and get 5 shots now on less armored people, and then combined with the breaching gun, reducing down the defense, him not criticling shouldn't make as big an issue. And of course, her having the D8, Bechamel having the D8 means she's going to get +1 damage a lot of the time, because 6+, she gets it's not only a critical, but it's going to give her +1 damage. Sort of the loser of this all is Doc, who didn't gain anything in this town stay other than 4 wounds. You know, he's got the vicious axe, and that's all he's got. There really weren't any good melee weapons to grab, but since the others are all set up, next session we'll dedicate on getting Doc. Probably, I kind of like. You know, we'll have to see how much money. Obviously, it's probably not going to be enough. Ultimately, we want to get at least the tools of science, and then like the hatchet or something that gives plus damage. But for now, the combo of, say, the knife and the hatchet for +1 combat and +1 damage. Get those extra dice. Again, I'm a fan of throw more dice at it. You're more likely to hit. You're more likely to get criticals. The criticals usually well make up for +1 damage. Depending. I mean, obviously some of them are like immune to criticals or what have you. But I think that's just going to be a good thing for the group to get him something. But that is it. He is the kind of the loser of this town stay, where he didn't really gain anything other than some wounds, which I mean, he'll be able to heal. Thank you all for sticking with me and for all your comments. I do appreciate it. I'm going to try to respond to most, if not everyone, that says something. Thank you again. I hope this was enjoyable and kind of informative. It certainly did turn out more surprising than what I was expecting going into this, with how little loot and experience that we had gotten last episode. So I think we are set for next episode, doing pretty well, being able to take down some enemies. We're starting to get a bit buffed up in gear. So hopefully they can get some enemies, get some experience, level up. We can do some leveling, see how these characters. I haven't even looked at their level up charts, so I don't know. This is all going to be a surprise to me if we manage to get kill enough stuff next episode to level up. Because all we need is 500. Because I know that we didn't kill enough or scavenge enough last episode for them to go up, but it's conceivable that we might get enough next episode with what we've gotten during this stay, because tending the sick, although that gave a bunch of experience there as well, it's still not enough to level them. I mean, it is 25 per 4+. So, Pete got 75 experience there for his one stay. And then I don't remember how many 4+s we got with the others off the top of my head. But so we should be pretty close to leveling up. So I think next episode, as long as we kill some stuff, which we should be able to do with our new gear, they should level up next episode, which means next town we'll be doing some leveling, some rolling on there, being able to look at these charts, see what we want to do, and what how we can build out these characters. This is kind of ahead of time, obviously, but if next time, if those of you who have, excuse me, who have the characters, after next episode, I'll try to make sure I'll make sure I'll count up all the experience we've got now. I'll try to end next episode with knowing if they're going to level up, and then I'll want you know, if you guys already have the sheets for the cowboy and the doctor and the gambler and want to make suggestions for what you would like them, the characters, to level up in, then feel free to do so. In fact, you can even do so now if you wanted on this video. Doesn't really matter. I will be I'm pretty confident that we'll be able to level them up after the next adventure. So, you know, I welcome your input. So if you guys said, I haven't even looked at their charts, but if you guys want to say, hey, you know, I think this would be a great way to, you know, go down this line for bechamel or what have you. I'm open to listening to all that. So thank you all for watching. Again, I hope you enjoyed it. Look forward to seeing the new gear in action next week. I need to break out all those stun tokens, which is kind of exciting. You know, granted it's only 2 shots, but that's pretty cool. All right. Well, thanks all, and I will see you next week.